As speculation over the revival of the 2015 nuclear deal continues to mount, Israel has now said that the head of its Mossad spy agency will now visit the United States for talks on the latest development in the high-stakes accord. According to reports, the Mossad chief, David Barnea, will visit Washington in early September and will participate in closed-door meetings with the U.S. Congress. The announced visit is the latest in the Jewish state's push to sway Western powers from signing a new deal with Tehran. Israel says that a new deal will facilitate the funding of Iran-supported extremists in the region and will not be able to prevent Tehran from developing a nuclear weapon. Iran, which has time and again denied Israel's claims, says that its nuclear program is completely safe. Meanwhile, a senior Iranian lawmaker has said that Iran and world powers are close to a deal, but it may require a new round of meetings before something is finalized. The development comes as the US has now given its response to Tehran's views on the European Union's final text proposal. As Iran and the six world powers inch closer to a new deal, reports have surfaced providing more details on the EU's final proposal. And according to these reports, the EU draft that was proposed earlier this month included 4 crucial steps in halting Iran's nuclear activity, with the fourth and final step taking effect in nearly 165 days after the deal is signed, and before any agreement is finalized. The sides will reportedly sign a deal that will see Western prisoners freed by Tehran in exchange for Iranian assets being unfrozen by Western nations. The first step, that will take effect from day of the signing, would see Iran freeze its uranium enrichment. Tehran will, however, be allowed to hold on to the enriched uranium that it will have stockpiled before that date. The second step would take 30 days, and it will see the Biden administration bring the deal to Congress for approval. The third step, which will be 60 days after the congressional approval, would see Washington notify the UN Security Council and the International Atomic Energy Agency about its decision to rejoin the pact. And the final step, which will come after 60 days, would see the US formally return to the deal. Iran signed the nuclear deal formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, with the US, China, Russia, Britain, France and Germany back in 2015. However, former US President Donald Trump pulled Washington out of the agreement in 2018 and reimposed sanctions on Tehran. The talks on the revival of the 2015 nuclear deal began in April last year, but were frequently suspended due to a rise in political differences between Washington and Tehran. And for more details on this story, we earlier spoke to Dr. Paul Dorfman from Paris. He is an associate fellow in the Science Policy Research Unit at the University of Sussex. Let's listen into his inputs.
Well, I suppose Israel is concerned about the potential military nuclear capacity of Iran, or if Iran is enriching, in other words, going forward with potentially creating a nuclear military capacity. Now, that said, the original deal was okayed. This new deal, or an extension of the old deal, is being diplomatically put forward by the US, also by the EU and Qatar, who are helping with this, and presumably Oman as well too. And Iran are inching towards what could be a significant move forward in which to de-escalate the potential for severe difficulties in the region. It's always justified to understand that civil nuclear and hence potential for enrichment, in other words, for the potential for moving towards a bomb, is always the case. On the other hand, what we've learned in Zaporizhzhia in Ukraine is that civil nuclear itself can be weaponized. So in that sense, the nuclear infrastructure in Iran are not defendable, not stable against even conventional military missiles. So in that sense, it's just an extension of the Cold War. Any nuclear plant in the world, it cannot be defended from a conventional missile attack. And in that sense, you've got a bomb on your own home soil in any case.
WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.